Hello students, today we will learn about the topic delegation of authority. This side Dr. Renu Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, SD College, Ambala Kent. In this video, we will learn about what is delegation, what are its benefits, its disadvantages, its elements and features. Right, so we will start with what is delegation. Delegation of authority can be defined as assigning of certain responsibility along with the necessary authority by a superior to his subordinates. Right. So delegation of authority means assigning of certain responsibility and authority to the subordinates. That means delegation of authority downwards. Delegation is basically subdivision and sub-allocation of powers to the subordinates in order to achieve effective results. That means we have to delegate some powers to the subordinates to achieve the organizational objective or to perform certain tasks. Right? Then delegation does not mean surrender of the authority, but it is transfer of certain responsibilities to subordinates and giving them the necessary authority to discharge that responsibility properly. So with the help of delegation, we can perform the duties, or the subordinates can perform their responsibility effectively. So somewhere delegation reduces the burden of top management, right? Here we will discuss about the flow of delegation. Delegation of authority that flows from top level to lower level. Top level assign the responsibility as well as delegate the authority to the middle level, then middle level delegate the authority to lower level, and lower level delegate the authority and responsibility to the operating level or the workers. Next, we will discuss about the elements of the delegation. There are three elements of delegation. One is responsibility, other is authority, and third one is the accountability. Responsibility means when manager assigns some task to his subordinate, he has to assign some responsibility with him effectively. And then it is the job of subordinates to work efficiently and accomplish that task effectively. If subordinate fails to carry out the task correctly, then the blame falls on the manager himself. So, what is the duty of a manager? He has to make responsible to the subordinate whenever he is assigning some task to his subordinates. Then comes the authority. Now, if the subordinate has to fulfill his responsibility, he needs some power to take certain decisions in order to accomplish that task. So, when the manager delegates the work to, he also delegates the power to take the decision. That is, that power is the authority. And this authority allows the subordinate to take independent decisions needed to finish the task effectively or efficiently. Then comes the accountability. Once the manager delegates the work and authority, he needs to check on the work of his subordinate because he is accountable for the work done by his superior. That means the manager is accountable for the work of the subordinates. Means the accountability that always lies with the manager or the superior. Unlike authority, accountability cannot be delegated. So the incapability of the subordinate to complete the task satisfactorily will be the fault of the manager. Next is process of delegation of authority. Process of delegation enables a person to assign work tasks to his subordinate and give them necessary authority to accomplish it successfully. It helps in completing the work in time, reduces workload of the manager, and motivates and develops the subordinate. So the process of delegation is that enables the person to assign a work to accomplish the task and assigning the work to others and delegate them the adequate authority to do that work. Right. So there are some steps in process of delegation. One is assignment of tasks. Other is delegation of decision making authority. The third one is the creation of obligation, and fourth one of the creation of accountability. We will discuss in detail in these all four steps. One is assignment of task. The first step is in this process is to determine clearly what what the subordinate are supposed to do. Right? That is what is the expectation of the top management from the subordinate. Then the capability of each subordinate are to be considered to match them with the assigned duties. We are to check whether the assigned duty, whether the subordinate is capable to perform the assigned duty or not. The tasks are to be distributed in such a manner that the subordinate are not unnecessarily overburdened. We are to check that this, while assigning the responsibility, subordinate will not get overburdened. Then comes the second step, delegation of decision making authority. Second step is to give authority to subordinate to make and implement decision regarding procurement of resources and supervision of activities that are relevant to the duties assigned to them. This authority must be clearly stated, and if possible, that should be in writing, so that there is no confusion regarding making necessary decisions. So here in this step, we are delegating authority to the subordinate to take the decision whenever it is required. Third step is creation of obligation. In the third step, uh, the creation of obligation of the part of subordinate to perform their duties satisfactorily. The person assigned the task is morally responsible to do his best as he has willingly accepted it. Obligation is personal concern for the task, even if subordinate gets part of the task done through other people, yet he must accept responsibility for timely completion of the task as well as the quality of the output. Means um, he has to take the obligation of completion of the task in time, as well as he has to check out the quality part of that, right? Then is the creation of accountability. Being answerable to someone of your action creates accountability. That is an obligation to accept the consequences, good or bad. According to Newman, Summer, and Warren, by accepting an assignment, a subordinate in effect gives his superior a promise to do his best in carrying out his duties. Having taken a job, he is morally bound to complete it. He can be held accountable for the results. Means earlier I have told you that the accountability always lies with the manager. But whenever manager assign the responsibility and delegate the authority to subordinate, that means he is making accountable that subordinate also towards himself, right? Next we will discuss the features of delegation of authority. First is delegation is a process. I have earlier told you that it is a process in which we have to follow certain steps. So delegation means there is a sequential order of steps in it. Next is ongoing process. It is a continuous process. Manager continue to delegate tasks and get them delegated by their superior to achieve the organizational goals. It is an art, not a science. When delegator delegate to the subordinate, it does not mean that subordinates will perform these tasks well. There is no cause and effect relationship between task assigned and their actual performance. So delegation is thus not a science. It is the art of how and when and what manager delegate to its subordinates. Then is delegation of authority, not accountability. Delegation does not mean that managers are not accountable to their superior for the tasks assigned to these subordinates. They remain accountable for the task assigned to subordinate and are answerable to their superior for performance. Next is necessary organizational activity. A manager cannot avoid delegation. As they cannot perform all the tasks themselves, they have to master the art of delegation, that is, how to delegate and what to delegate. Right? So, next is it has a different forms. Delegation that can have different forms, and it can be downward, it can be upward, or the lateral. Next is advantages of delegation. One is basis for effective function. With the help of delegation, we establishes the relationship and coordination in different activities of organization, which helps us in achieving the organizational objectives. Next is it results in quick decision. Delegation provides the process of delegation makes it possible to push the decision making to the lowest level, where information, competence, and willingness to make decisions are available. So we can take the quick decisions. Then is reduction in managerial load. Delegation relieves the manager from minor or routine type of duties. Thus, he can concentrate or he can devote greater attention to the and effort towards the more important responsibilities. Then is it leads to specialized services. Since the work is assigned to the person who are specialized, who have the special knowledge in their field and they are expert in their field. For example, sales that can be delegated to the sales manager, marketing can be delegated to the marketing manager. Then is delegation as a motivational factor. Delegation may also be used as a device to motivate the subordinates, because subordinates usually respond to delegated authority with favorable attitude. They become more responsible and more dedicated to their work, and they feel proud of being given such authority and responsibility. Then is aid to employee development. Delegation ensures the employee in organization to develop their capabilities and undertake new and more challenging jobs. It also promotes the job satisfaction. Then is it can be a training ground for executive ability. When tasks are given to subordinates and they are to analyze the situation and take decisions, this involvement prepares them for problem solving process when they reach at a higher executive level. Then is aids to expansion and diversification of business. With its employees fully trained in decision making in various fields and can businessmen can confidently undertake expansion and diversification of its activities. Then is efficient running of branches. In the modern world, where business rarely confines to its activities to a single place, hence only delegation can provide the key to smooth and efficient running of the various branches of the business at places far out and near. Now, there are some disadvantages also. One is central management is far removed from the actual operations where the decisions are made, so that it becomes difficult to pinpoint major problems when they occur, because decisions are made by many subordinates. So involvement of many people are there. So that means the decision may be somewhere, sometime the problem can occur. Second problem may lie in the area of coordination. If coordination among these many subordinates is not adequate, then confusion may result and it may become difficult to exercise control over procedures and policies. may be difficult to perfectly match the task with the capability of the subordinate. Means whenever we are delegating authority, we check out whether the subordinate is capable enough to handle that responsibility or not. So, so it is sometimes difficult, somewhere difficult to check out the capability of the subordinate and match the capability with the responsibility also. So whenever we are to conclude the delegation, the delegation of authority involves the sharing of authority downwards to the subordinates and checking their efficiency by making them accountable for their doing. Right. So whenever we are sharing the responsibility and delegating the authority, we are to check out their efficiency whether they are capable enough or not, and we are checking the efficiency by making them accountable for their doing. Right. In an organization, the manager has several responsibilities and work to do so. So in order to reduce the burden, certain responsibility and authority are delegated to the lower level. It is to subordinates. It is to the subordinates to get the work done on the manager's behalf. Under the delegation of authority, the manager does not surrender his authority completely, but only shares certain responsibility with the subordinates and delegate that much authority which is necessary to complete that responsibility. So and that means ki whenever a manager or the superior is delegating the authority, he never delegates the authority completely. He only shares some authority or delegate, he shares some responsibility and delegate that much authority which is necessary or which is required to meet out that responsibility. Right. So this is somewhere about the advantage and disadvantage and about the delegation. About principle of delegation we will learn about in the next video. Thank you.